The sky above Zephyria glowed with colors humans had never seen before. Two suns bathed the planet in a strange mix of golden light and violet shadows. Captain Eric Sloan looked out of his ship's window, feeling a mix of awe and unease. Zephyria was beautiful, but it was also dangerous. He had heard stories about rogue factions, betrayals within the royal court, and creatures that could kill a human in an instant. Still, he had agreed to come. Space exploration was his life, and saving lives, even alien ones, had become something he could not ignore. The distress signal came just as Arik was preparing to leave orbit. It was weak, almost like a whisper, but it carried the unmistakable signature of Zephyria's royal communications. Princess Liara had been taken. The message ended abruptly, leaving only a static hum. Arik's heart raced. He had no official orders to intervene, but he couldn't let a princess die. His ship's engines hummed to life, and he plotted a course toward the last known coordinates of the signal. By the time Arik landed on the planet's surface, darkness had fallen. The twin suns were gone below the horizon, leaving only the glow of distant alien cities. Zephyria's forests were thick and strange. Giant trees with translucent leaves moved as if alive, and the air shimmered with tiny floating lights. The rogue faction had chosen a remote area for their hideout, a place humans would find difficult to navigate. That was exactly the kind of challenge Arik liked. He moved quietly, stepping over roots that glowed faintly under his boots. His experience told him that rushing in would be a mistake. He observed the patterns of light and shadow, listened to the sounds of the forest, and calculated the safest path. After an hour of careful travel, he found the base. It was partially hidden behind a waterfall, a natural shield that made it almost invisible from above. Security drones hovered near the entrance, scanning the area in regular sweeps. Arik took a deep breath and smiled. Humans were not as advanced as Zephyrians in technology, but their adaptability was unmatched. He used a small electromagnetic pulse device he had built himself to disable the drones temporarily. One by one, they fell from the sky like metal birds with broken wings. He slipped inside the base, moving silently through corridors lit by strange, pulsating lights. Inside, he found signs of the princess immediately. Guards were posted at every doorway, but Arik had a plan. He created a small distraction by triggering alarms in a distant wing. As the guards ran to investigate, he used the moment to slip through a ventilation shaft. It was narrow, but he was used to tight spaces. The shaft led directly above the chamber where Liara was held. Peering through the grated floor, Arik saw her. Princess Liara was unlike anyone he had ever met. She was tall, with silver hair that shimmered like liquid metal and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Despite being chained, she carried herself with grace and calm, her gaze steady as if she already knew someone would come to save her. Arik felt a surge of respect. This was a true leader. He worked quickly. Using a small energy cutter, he cut through the chains that bound her. As soon as she was free, a guard spotted him. Alarms blared. The base seemed to come alive, lights flashing and mechanical doors sealing. Arik grabbed Liara's hand and they ran. She moved with surprising speed, her alien muscles coiling and uncoiling with perfect balance. Together they dodged traps, leaped over energy barriers, and ducked under swinging metal arms designed to crush intruders. Outside, the forest was waiting. The rogue faction had anticipated escape routes, but Arik's knowledge of terrain and human ingenuity gave them an advantage. He led Liara through paths only he could see, using the faint glow of the bioluminescent plants to guide them. Behind them, the base erupted in chaos. Explosions shook the ground as Arik had remotely activated self-destruct sequences for the equipment that could be captured. Finally, they reached his ship. Liara hesitated for a moment, looking back at the burning base, but Arik's steady hand on her shoulder reassured her. "We need to go." "Now," he said. She nodded, trusting the human who had risked everything for her. The engines roared to life, lifting them off the planet just as a wave of enemy ships appeared in the distance. Space travel was different from planetary movement. Arik knew he could not outrun them forever, but humans had a way of thinking differently. He used the ship's maneuvering thrusters to create unpredictable patterns, slipping through asteroid fields and magnetic storms. Liara watched him amazed. She had seen advanced Zephyrian pilots, but none with such daring tactics, none with such calm under pressure. After hours of tense pursuit, the rogue faction gave up. Arik set a course for the Zephyrian capital. The princess leaned back in her seat, finally allowing herself a moment to breathe. You are very different from what I expected of humans, she said quietly. Eric smiled. I hope that's good. She nodded. It is. You are brave, clever, and honorable. When they arrived at the capital, Queen Seraphine herself awaited. She was taller than most aliens Arik had seen, with eyes that seemed to look straight through a person. She observed Arik closely as he escorted her daughter down the gangway. The human's calm courage impressed her, but more than that, she sensed loyalty and integrity, qualities rare even among her own species. You have saved my daughter, the Queen said, her voice calm but carrying weight. That act alone would earn respect, but your courage and intelligence go beyond it. You are remarkable. Arik bowed respectfully. I only did what I could, Your Majesty. The Queen studied him, and then, without warning, she extended her hand. By Zephyrian law, one who saves a royal in such a manner may be declared under royal protection. Henceforth, Captain Arik Sloan, you are mine. The words were formal, but the meaning was clear. He would have protection, honor, and a bond with the royal family that few aliens ever received. Arik blinked. I accept, Your Majesty, he said, understanding the gravity of the declaration. Liara looked at him, a mix of surprise and amusement on her face. It seems your bravery comes with more consequences than you expected, she said. Arik chuckled, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was more than saving a life. This was entering an entirely new world of politics, culture, and expectations. The next days were filled with ceremonies. Arik learned Zephyrian customs, their language, and the intricate rules of the court. Every interaction was a test, every gesture observed. Yet the human's adaptability shone through. Arik's honesty, quick thinking, and unwavering courage earned him allies among the court members, though there were still skeptics. Some questioned why a human, so fragile compared to their advanced species, would be given such a title. Arik's actions had already begun to answer that question. Late at night, Arik walked through the palace gardens with Liara. The twin moons of Zephyria reflected off the streams, casting silver light on the alien flora. You risked everything for me, Liara said softly. Why? Arik smiled. Because humans don't always follow orders. Sometimes we do what is right, even when it's dangerous. She studied him, admiration in her eyes. Perhaps humans are stronger than we thought. As the days passed, rumors spread through the capital. Stories of a human who saved a princess and earned the Queen's protection circulated everywhere. Arik became a symbol, not just of bravery, but of human ingenuity, courage, and honor. The rogue faction remained a threat, but the palace now knew they had someone unlike any other to defend them. Queen Seraphine invited Arik to her private chambers. Captain Sloan, she said, you have shown us what it means to be brave, to be honorable. Zephyria owes you a great debt, and I as the Queen vow that you will always have a place here. Your actions have not only saved my daughter, but also reminded us of the strength humans carry within them. Arik felt a mixture of pride and humility. He had never sought recognition, but this acknowledgement was different. It was a bond of trust, respect, and shared destiny. And so, under the twin moons of Zephyria, Arik Sloan began a new chapter. He had saved a princess, faced dangers no human had encountered before, and earned the respect of an alien queen. Yet deep down he knew this was only the beginning. The rogue faction had not given up. The politics of Zephyria were treacherous, and he was now part of a world that was both beautiful and perilous. But Arik was ready. Humans were adaptable, humans were courageous, and humans, he thought with a quiet smile, were capable of far more than anyone, alien or human, could imagine. The Zephyrian capital was alive with light and sound. Towering crystal spires reflected the glow of the twin suns, and hovercrafts moved in silent, graceful patterns above the streets. Arik Sloan walked through the palace corridors, feeling the weight of his new status. He was now under the Queen's protection, a declaration that carried more than honor. It carried responsibility. Every glance, every step reminded him that humans were being watched closely, and his actions could change the perception of his species across Zephyria. Princess Liara greeted him each morning with quiet curiosity. She had begun to respect the human not only for his bravery, but for his wisdom and calm judgment. Arik, in turn, admired her intelligence and courage. Though she was a princess, she never treated him as inferior. Their friendship grew steadily, built on mutual respect rather than duty or obligation. Life in the palace was a challenge. Zephyrian society was complex, their laws strict and their customs intricate. Arik had to learn quickly. Even minor mistakes could lead to misunderstandings. Yet he thrived. Humans had a unique ability to adapt, and he used it to navigate court politics with surprising ease. Some advisors doubted him, whispering that a human could not understand Zephyrian strategies or culture. Others watched silently, intrigued by the human who moved with confidence in their world. The first real test came sooner than expected. Scouts reported unusual activity along Zephyria's northern borders. The rogue faction that had kidnapped Princess Liara was regrouping. They had stolen ships, weapons, and advanced technology from remote colonies preparing to strike the capital. Arik studied the reports carefully. Zephyrian leaders relied heavily on brute force, but humans thought differently. He proposed an unconventional plan, using stealth, misdirection, and traps to weaken the enemy before they reached the city. Queen Seraphine listened intently. "Your methods are unorthodox," she said, raising one elegant eyebrow. "But I trust your judgment, human. Lead our forces, and may your insight protect Zephyria." Arik bowed, feeling the responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was no longer about saving a single life. It was about protecting an entire civilization. Preparations began immediately. Arik worked alongside Zephyrian engineers, blending human ingenuity with alien technology. They laid hidden sensors in the forests, planted decoys, and programmed drones to mimic troop movements. He trained Zephyrian soldiers in tactics that emphasized strategy over sheer power, showing them how to use terrain, timing, and intelligence to their advantage. Many were skeptical at first, but when they saw his ideas in practice, their doubts began to fade. Meanwhile, Princess Liara refused to remain idle. She trained with the palace guards, learning to anticipate enemy movements and understand Zephyrian battle strategies. Arik noticed that she was not only brave but quick to learn, and her insights often complemented his own. Together they became a formidable team, a human and an alien princess united by purpose and respect. The day of the confrontation arrived. Scouts reported that the rogue faction had crossed into Zephyria's northern territory. The palace trembled with tension. Arik and Liara led a small, agile force to meet them. The enemy was larger, better equipped in some ways, but they lacked cohesion and strategy. Arik's plan relied on the element of surprise. He guided his forces through hidden paths, using natural cover and electronic camouflage to remain undetected. The first encounter was brief but intense. Rogue soldiers rushed forward, expecting a conventional Zephyrian response. Instead, Arik's forces appeared from unexpected angles, striking with precision and efficiency. Using a combination of energy nets, automated traps, and clever diversions, they disoriented the enemy. Liara commanded a small squad, her voice clear and decisive, and the soldiers followed her orders without hesitation. Arik watched her from a distance, impressed by her courage and composure. The rogue faction quickly realized they were being outsmarted. Their confidence faltered as more of their troops fell into human-devised traps. Arik's tactics turned what could have been a devastating defeat into a controlled, strategic victory. By the time the main Zephyrian forces arrived, the enemy was already scattered and weakened. When the battle ended, Arik returned to the palace with Liara at his side. Queen Seraphine awaited them, her expression unreadable. Arik explained the strategies, the risks, and the outcomes. The queen listened carefully, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Finally, she spoke. "You have not only saved Zephyria once more, Captain Sloan, but you have shown us that courage and intelligence can surpass raw strength. Your actions honor not only yourself but your entire species." Arik felt a quiet pride. Humans were often underestimated, but this acknowledgement was unlike anything he had experienced. It was not just a personal victory. It was a recognition of human potential in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations. In the days that followed, life in the palace settled into a careful rhythm. Arik continued his duties under the Queen's protection, advising on security, training, and exploration missions. He also spent time learning Zephyrian culture, language, and philosophy. His presence challenged the court's assumptions about humans, showing that they were capable of courage, innovation, and wisdom. Liara often joined him in these lessons, their friendship deepening with every conversation. They shared stories of Earth and Zephyria, laughed at differences in customs, and debated strategies for protecting the planet. Despite the danger they had faced, there was a sense of calm and understanding between them. Auric realized that humans could offer more than strength. They could offer perspective, creativity, and resilience. One evening, Queen Seraphine summoned Auric to her private chambers. The room was vast, filled with floating crystals that reflected soft, golden light. The Queen's presence was commanding, yet her tone was warm. "Captain Sloan, your actions have changed the course of Zephyria's history. You have earned the trust of my daughter, my people, and me. But this trust comes with responsibility. You must continue to demonstrate loyalty, wisdom, and courage." Auric nodded solemnly. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will do my best." The Queen studied him for a long moment, then smiled faintly. "You have already done more than most of my people could imagine. Know that as long as you uphold the honor of humans and the safety of Zephyria, you will have a place here." The next months were filled with new challenges. Reports came of distant threats, rival factions, and political tensions among Zephyria's allies. Auric was often called upon to advise on diplomacy and strategy. Each decision carried weight, yet he approached them with human practicality and courage. Zephyrians began to see that humans, though physically less powerful, brought something unique to the galaxy: adaptability, cleverness, and a sense of honor that could turn the tide in moments of crisis. One day, Liara approached Auric with a problem that was both personal and political. A neighboring system had requested an audience with the Queen, and the talks were delicate. The human and princess spent hours preparing, analyzing potential risks and outcomes. Auric suggested strategies that balanced caution with initiative, and Liara adopted them seamlessly. Their teamwork impressed not only the Queen but also the council members, who had been skeptical of a human influencing royal affairs. When the diplomatic mission began, Auric accompanied Liara and her advisors. His presence was unusual, and some delegates whispered about the human among the royalty. Yet his insights, calm demeanor, and ability to anticipate problems turned potential conflicts into agreements. By the end of the mission, he had not only helped secure Zephyria's position, but also earned respect from alien leaders who had once doubted humans. Back at the palace, celebrations marked the success. Queen Seraphine formally acknowledged Auric once more, this time not only as a protector but as a trusted advisor. She held a private ceremony, presenting him with a medal of honor that symbolized courage, loyalty, and wisdom. Auric accepted it with humility, aware that the recognition was more than personal. It represented the potential of humanity in a vast galaxy. Liara watched from nearby, her expression a mix of pride and respect. "You have done more than save me," she said softly. "You have shown all of Zephyria what humans can achieve." Auric smiled. "I only did what anyone should do. But thank you. It means a lot to hear that." Evenings in the palace became moments of reflection for Auric. He looked at the twin moons over Zephyria, remembering the dangers, the victories, and the friendships he had forged. He thought of Earth, of the humans who had trained him, and of the qualities that made their species remarkable: courage, intelligence, empathy, and the determination to do what is right, no matter the odds. The rogue faction had been weakened but not destroyed. They would regroup eventually, yet Auric felt confident. He knew humans could face impossible odds and adapt to challenges no one else could. He had seen it firsthand, and now the Zephyrian people had seen it too. Queen Seraphine invited him once more to her chambers, a quiet personal audience this time. "Captain Sloan," she said, her tone gentle yet commanding, "you have proven that humans are capable of honor, courage, and wisdom beyond expectation. Know that from this day forward you are part of Zephyria, not just as a protector but as a symbol of what humanity can offer." Auric felt a profound sense of purpose. He had arrived on Zephyria as an